What is up, Cough Country? Welcome back. It is Steve with your cannabis news, and this is the first official show we are doing from the actual Cough Country newsroom. I'm very excited about it. And what are we starting off with? We're starting off with asking, what does it actually take to become a budtender? Well, we got Barb, the budtender here, who is also my mom, by the way, and she is getting her license. She's going to come in and tell us all about it. And then we are taking a little trip to South America with the strains of yesterday, and we are going to go digging for the Columbian gold. I'm pumped about that. And finally, we're asking, should you be able to buy lottery tickets at a dispensary? Well, a couple from Massachusetts are pushing for it, and we're going to dive into that in just a minute on Cough Country News. Yeah! Oh, I love it, brother. Yeah, let's get into the news.
No sticks, no seeds, just news.
From the Cough Country News Desk, it's Steve with your cannabis news.
Guys, we've got a very special guest coming in today. We've got Barb the Budtender coming in to share her journey of becoming a budtender. Now, Barb is also my mom. She's a medical cannabis patient, decided to take the bull by the horns, get behind the counter, see how legal cannabis really works from the inside out. Now, I know a lot of people, myself included, think we might know everything there is to know about cannabis, right? But she's the one taking the classes. She's the one doing the tests. She's got the inside scoop of what it takes to really sling some green in the legal world. Barb, Mom, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. You call me Mom, young man. I'm your mother.
Your mother. Sorry, Mom. Mom, mother. So we're talking.
Not only am I doing cannabis now, I grew cannabis back in the 70s.
You grew it.
I've been at it a long time.
Oh my goodness! See, I didn't know about this. Barb the budtender was the grower too. Okay. Well, actually, we'll start there. Like, how did so you've gone all the way from growing weed in the 70s to becoming a budtender in the legal age? How did you get from there to here?
Well, in the 70s, your father and I grew what we call Dover clover. And marijuana back then was you just lopped off the top of the plant and smoked it. So it was all giggles and being hungry. When I got older, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but when I got older, I found that I needed medication for my aches and pains, and I had an immunization disease. So I started doing marijuana again. After doing that, I said, well, why don't I get into it and find out what the business is all about? So I started taking the classes. I passed my first series of tests. I'm going for my second. And in another 2 weeks, I'll be working at a up-and-coming bud store.
Oh, my goodness. So wait, so you just decided one day, hey, I'm going to go get the test. Do you just like Google this online, or is there a school you go to?
Yep, I Googled online and found that the state of New Jersey has a 26-hour course that you have to take. It's in 2 sections. There's 50 questions on each test, and you have to have a 70 to pass before you can even be a budtender.
Okay, so
the course is pretty extensive.
It's so that's part 1, right? What's the part 2?
Part 1 is biochemistry.
Okay.
When I graduated from Rutgers University, I have a degree in biochemistry. So I thought this course for the state of New Jersey would be simple. It's complicated. You have to have a 70 to pass. I did the course and passed with an 88. Yep, without cheating.
That's a solid B+.
I passed that.
Say.
The second course is about it's not biochemistry, but it's how to deal with the customer, how to prescribe, and how to deal with any problems they may have.
Oh, so I mean, you have a little bit of a scientific background, especially with your education. But how in depth does that science get? Like, how intense are they mincing words?
It's very intense. You have to know the biochemical processes on how the cannabinoids and the terpenes react to the human anatomy. I don't know how a lot of these kids, I hate to call you kids, but your kids pass this test because it's very complicated. It's very in-depth. You have to know all the pathways that the marijuana or the cannabinoids and the terpenes take in the body to cause reaction and to cause medical reactions. So a lot of the test has to do with medical prescribing and medical cannabis.
Can I ask you something? Like, from coming from the 70s into the middle of kind of the scientific element of it, has anything been disproven from what was the reality that you lived within the 70s to now? Like,
The reality of the 70s was that we really didn't understand then what it was about marijuana that was making us high, that was causing us to have relief from pain. So we didn't know the science behind it. In the 70s, we grew it in the backyard or in the woods.
Right.
You'd cut off the top of the plant. We didn't go just for the buds. There were lots of seeds and stems. So we really had no science behind it. It was just a bunch of kids growing a plant and smoking it and hoping the cops didn't catch us.
Right. So we're becoming a budtender. How far along are you in the process? How much further do you have to go?
I finished the first portion of the test. I have another 6 hours to go, and then I'll be licensed. So I'm just waiting for the store that I'm going to be working for to open up, and that should open up in the next 2 weeks or so.
So you're licensed, you're qualified, you go in.
I go in and
Right.
I do it.
It's a beautiful thing. Has there
What's
been anything
crazy-
that surprised you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It was crazy is in New Jersey, it's suddenly opening up. Non-medical dispensaries are now opening all over the place. In my town where I'll be working, in a stretch of 5 miles, there are 6 new stores opening.
6.
So there's a big need for bud tenders.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot. And as far as you know, is that happening kind of all over the state?
It seems to be happening all over the state. In the last 2 weeks, I've seen just in northern New Jersey, 4 stores open up.
Oh, wow. That is a lot. So in your education, kind of becoming this bud tender, going into that direction, has there been any surprises you've run into? Anything like, I never thought that would be true?
I'm amazed by how the terpenes affect at least the medical portion of marijuana.
Right.
There are so many terpenes and so many cannabinoids, and the way that they are combined and work together, the biochemistry of it is fascinating. It really is fascinating. I never expected that there was such intense medical or physiological reaction in people to the different strains, the different combinations of chemicals in the pot itself.
So as you kind of learned about those chemicals, I know there's like things like CBN does this, CBD does this, THCV does this. If I came in and asked, hey, can you give me something for pain? Can you just point to one cannabinoid and say, this one's high in that will do it? Or do you have to kind of look at the other things?
You have to look at everything together. Each of the cannabinoids has a different reaction in the body, but they are all in homeostasis with each other. So they all depend upon each other. The terpenes, what terpene combination you have, and the cannabinoid combination. So as a bud tender, I can't prescribe. I don't have that medical background. But if a customer came in and said, hey, look, I really want something to help me sleep. I want something to help take care of this pain, but I don't want to end up eating a lot. I would be able to direct them to a strain that might fit the needs that they have.
Gotcha.
The first question I ask any customer who comes in is, why are you here? What are you looking for? And then if they need my assistance, I can direct them to a strain or a brand that we have that can meet those needs.
Do you think you're bringing anything to the game that somebody younger might not be bringing? This is not a normal course of action for a lot of people.
Well, I'm 70. So for a 70-year-old to be in with all the youngsters, I bring a sense of security to older customers coming in. They see my gray hair and know that I'm like them. I am feeling what they're feeling. I can understand what they're looking for. Also, a lot of the older customers coming in haven't smoked or vaped or done anything since the 70s. So they have no idea even how to take the marijuana. How do they eat it? Do they smoke it? Do they dab it? What do they do?
Right.
So they're more likely to come to me to ask because they won't feel embarrassed or feel like they're stupid and not with it like the kids are.
Yeah. No, and I think that's incredibly important. That's a huge group of people that's coming to this right now.
What's really funny is a lot of the 70-year-olds who did it in the 70s are all coming back to it now. So many people are interested. They want alternatives to the pain medication they're taking now. They want alternatives to the sleep medications. So more and more people my age, more and more retirees are coming in to try it out again, to see what the new cannabis is like. And the new cannabis is nothing like the old stuff.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. Well, Barb, Mom, Mother, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I'm really excited about this journey. I hope you come back, tell us more about it as you get further along in it. But thank you so much for coming on. And guys, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to have a word from our sponsor in just a second.
Now there's darkness on the face of the earth. Hey, buddy.
Every seven Spanish angel in the altar of the sun.
Well, I don't go to funerals. I won't be. Hey, Chris.
Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Look, we got more news. You didn't have to worry. So we all know where we go to get that good green, right? Most states have dispensaries that sell quality products, tested and packaged for you. But it may not just be the sticky icky that you pick up at the weed shop anymore. You might be able to scratch your way to those greenback dollar bills, as some places are asking the question, can a dispensary sell lottery tickets? Several dispensaries in Massachusetts are trying to sell lottery tickets at their stores, and now the ball is in the Cannabis Control Commission's court. It's up to them to decide what's the line. What non-cannabis stuff can a dispensary actually sell? So right now, there's not really any law one way or the other that says if they can or can't sell lottery tickets. But they can technically sell other things than marijuana. It's been general policy to allow dispensaries to sell accessories, like glass or papers, as well as clothing items like hats and shirts, that carry the dispensary's brand. But opening it up to lottery tickets is a whole different game, because everyone acknowledges that this conversation will balloon into more than just lottery tickets. Apparently, when this request first came across the commission's desk, most people just wanted to shoot it down right away. But a few forward thinkers realized that it had enough implications on the future of cannabis in the state to warrant opening it up for discussion. So it's a broader question than it sounds that could really wind up defining cannabis retail for years to come. Commissioner Bruce Stebbins said, quote, "I think it involves more of a discussion with our counterparts at Massachusetts Lottery, as well as, I think, a broader discussion for this commission about where we actually want to play a role as the industry is maturing. What do retail establishments begin to look like?" So this question is being asked as Massachusetts is already working on changing the structure of cannabis sales in the state anyway. The CCC is trying to set up a framework for establishing social consumption sites where people can buy and consume cannabis in the same place, almost, like a bar would for alcohol. People will be able to come to the dispensary, hang out, enjoy their product. So this extra time being spent at the store means more opportunity for the business to make money. They're already looking into selling snacks and drinks and other forms of entertainment, and now lottery tickets as well. The only other dispensary that tried to sell lottery tickets specifically was in Colorado, but they only did it for a month before they gave it up because of low sales. But again, this question goes far beyond the lottery, so it's being discussed as a broader discussion, with commissioners saying that they at least want to begin the conversation and start considering the next steps that would be involved in expanding non-cannabis sales. We are back, and we are talking about the strains of yesterday, and we're taking a trip down to South America to ask, whatever happened to Columbian gold? Even if you weren't back there in the day, you probably still heard of it, as it was one of the most popular strains to ever find its way into a rolling paper. It's that golden legend that once people knew about, they could never forget it. This hugely popular strain was born in the Santa Marta Mountains in northern Colombia, a region that catches all the humidity, rain, and wind whipping off the tropical end of the Atlantic Ocean. and the Caribbean Sea. It was rogue hippies and surfers that found their way down to South America hunting what would become one of the most popular original land races of all time. It was a tall, leafy plant. It had a long growing season near the equator, and it was marked by its lime green buds that would fade into a golden yellow as it matured. And it stunk to high heaven. People said they could smell it from a mile away. But once people realized how good the gold was, seeds quickly made their way all over the world. Before Colombia was known for cocaine production, it was the golden land of weed, producing the majority of the quality bud that was being smoked in the U.S. By the time the 60s rolled around and the marijuana counterculture movement was really getting going, there was already a smuggling network established in the country that was actually smuggling coffee, as the new international trade agreements had disrupted the coffee industry. And when the U.S. demand for marijuana began to tick up, there was already the framework and the people there to move it where it needed to go. And it turned out to be a way more profitable, and the money that new money created a new class of marimberos, who were the original marijuana traffickers, and who at its height were smuggling up to 70% of the marijuana being smoked in the U.S. And as that money flowed back into the community, the marimberos turned into local heroes and legends. But because so much of the weed in the States was coming from Colombia, the DEA and its drug war decided to focus on the source of the problem. They set up shop right in the country and alongside the government, who had been fighting paramilitary FARC guerrillas, and they launched an all-out war on the marimberos. And the more desperate they got, the more violent and organized they became. And once cocaine promised more money for their struggle, the cartels solidified their power and the marijuana industry began to die off. Tom Forsyth, the legendary smuggler and founder of High Times magazine, is actually one of the ones that made his name off Colombian gold. In fact, a huge shipment of the Santa Marta Columbian strain was where he got the seed money to start the magazine in the first place. It said he would fly his two-seater Cessna airplane into the Santa Marta Mountains and put down in some random remote landing strip. And the local villages would turn out and celebrate like he was a returning war hero, presenting him with the best of their cannabis crop for him to inspect and buy. His cryptic Santa Marta project was his quest to find the best golden bud in the world. And he believed it was nestled in those Colombian mountains. And he might have found it too. On his last shipment he ever ran, his smuggling buddy crashed into a tree trying to drop Colombian gold into Florida. And Tom wound up ending his own life 6 months later. So while you can still find different breeds of Colombian gold today, it's better known for its genetics, which are the base of some of the most famous strains that are known today. Particularly skunk number 1. The backbone of modern cannabis, Sam the Skunk Man was a legendary breeder that managed to cross the Afghani land race with a Colombian gold and then a little bit of Acapulco gold to make it easier to grow. And when he won the High Times 1988 Cannabis Cup with the skunk, it cemented Colombian gold's place in shaping cannabis as we know it today. Guys, thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to tune in next time. Like, subscribe, follow, tell all your friends. Come back to Cough Country, because around here, it's always no sticks, no seeds, just news, man. Just the news. Thanks so much, guys.